can I do it? Can I get a victory with all 6 characters in Resident Evil Verse, the new multiplayer game for Resident Evil that is about to come out? The multiplayer mode for Village that was supposed to come out last year got delayed. It's about to come out this Friday, and I got to play the beta. It's probably closed by the time you see this video, but I just wanted to get a review out there, and that's the question I want to pose with this video is, can I get a victory with each of the characters? And you guys will find out as the video progresses if indeed I am skilled enough, if I'm a real gamer boy and can in fact get the victories every now and again. You already know that your boy's the best gamer of all time, or am I? You'll find out soon. But I just wanted to break down all the different characters and weapons and what I think of the balancing in the game overall. I'm highly enjoying it. You got to understand my bias going into it. I love arena-based multiplayer games, free-for-all, Slayer games. It's kind of fun for me. I like the different abilities, the hero aspects. So this type of game is something I would enjoy regardless. So if you feel differently, I can't speak for how you'll feel about it. So the idea of a game like this in Resident Evil is awesome. I did enjoy the Resistance game, the previous multiplayer game. It was like asymmetrical, mostly cooperative multiplayer. That game wasn't so much for me. I'm more like the competitive aspect of games like this. So this is more my style of game, and you guys will see the footage that I'm cutting in that I do get kind of sweaty sometimes, but I'm still casual because I make a lot of mistakes, you know. So there's only one game mode, only 2 maps, and 6 characters. It's the same 6 characters from the last beta that I got to play. It's Jill, Claire, Chris, we got Ada, we got Hunk. Did I say Leon yet? I don't know. Those are our 6 characters. I played as them all, and will I get a victory? You guys will find out. But what we did get a glimpse of in this beta that we didn't get in the last one was the customization that is available. And there is, in fact, customization available for each character. So the format of the game is this. It's a free-for-all, and if you die as a human, you get respawned in as a bioweapon. And now there are a few bioweapons. There are different tiers of them based on which canisters you pick up. The base one is Fat Molded. And these guys you don't want to underestimate because you can do quite a bit of damage. A lot of the game is designed around, you know, finding ways to stun lock characters and chain your attacks and abilities together and figure out combos is basically the meta of this game. So you could just play it more like a straight shooter and get decent results that way. There's a lot of movement. It's very kinetic. You want to dodge your attacks a lot. But I'm getting sidetracked. The molded guy, he can self-destruct, and every time he dies, it does damage to everybody in the vicinity. And they can charge, and when you're charging, you can press the button again, the charge button again, and you jump, and that can sometimes stun lock an enemy, and you can get kills that way. So it's actually surprisingly a powerful enemy. But once you pick up canisters on the map, you can unlock different tiers. So tier 1, if you have 1 canister, you can get this little fish looking guy, and this is one of my favorites because he has a ranged ability. He has a ranged spitting attack, so he can actually attack from a distance, which is kind of unique amongst most of these bioweapons. So I enjoy that aspect of him. And his base attack is kind of a group attack, so it's not as powerful as a lot of these bioweapon attacks, but he can attack multiple enemies around him at the same time, so that's cool. So I like the Fishman. The other level 1 is Jack. Jack has the ability to swing the blade thing that he has, so that's another attack that can do damage to multiple enemies, and it's really good for catching humans off guard and then stun locking them as well. Of course, you can do base attacks, swinging the blade, and he also has a finisher called Welcome to the Family. It's just a punch that does a high amount of damage, so you have to learn these attacks and get used to using them because you can chain them together in interesting ways. You have to know, okay, once I stun a person, I can use the Welcome to the Family thing. You don't want to use that before that you stun them because then that leaves you vulnerable to attack. It's all in the timing of things like this, so it's a kind of twitchy game, which I kind of enjoy. But Nemesis, I wasn't as fond of at first, but I think you can get great results in the right circumstances. He has a rocket launcher, so that's another ranged attack, and it's great for groups. You can get multiple. I've gotten kills, multiple kills with one rocket, which is cool. He can basically kind of infect a certain area around him, and tentacles will pop up, and anybody running away gets hit by them. Those you can get useful attacks in there, but not my favorite, but I have seen people play him very well. I do like the Super Tyrant. Nemesis and Super Tyrant are level 2. You need 2 capsules to unlock him. The Super Tyrant has a charging attack with his blade arm thing. So, if you played the Resident Evil 2, you know this attack. So, it's always fatal in the hard mode. But that's a fun attack to use, and you can get fun finishing moves there. And he also can do a jumping attack, so that's a good enemy as well. So I love the creatures almost more than the humans sometimes, because you kind of run on instinct. Once you've used those attacks, you know how to chain them together. You don't have to think about your strategy as much like you do with the humans, which, of course, is the more complicated, fun part. So basically, it's the kind of game where you want to string together kill streaks to get combo bonuses and stuff like that. So you can get yourself ahead. If you really want to consistently win games, that's how you're going to do it. But the balancing in this game is interesting because it's more than just different abilities and balancing those. It's balancing, some characters have stronger weapons than others. Some characters have weapons that take a lot more skill to use. Some characters can roll 3 times, whereas other characters can only roll twice. So some characters are more mobile than others. So you'll have to really see which character fits your playstyle best. I like switching between them all, but my favorites, I think, as of right now, is Claire. I like the stun attack, of course. Her machine gun's really cool. I like that she can reload while she's dodging. Everybody has a passive skill, which is really cool. But let's just go in order, and I'll talk about all the characters individually. So Chris has an assault rifle that is pretty much the best assault rifle in the game. There's like Hunk's assault rifle, and Jill has a little Uzi thing. So I would say Chris's does the most damage as far as the assault rifle. I can't speak for most of the handguns. I haven't really used them in combat so much. So Chris has the ability to be invulnerable for a short period of time, which can be kind of annoying if to be against, but you have to know when to duck out of cover and then come in for the attack. So I don't know. I didn't feel like any character was OP in general, except we'll get to Ada in a second. But he also has a melee attack that is fun to use, and his passive is that when he loses health, he does more damage. So I personally don't like to use skills like that where I'm supposed to, as a strategy, have less health. Not my thing in particular, but some people are going to be able to use that to great effect. So Jill has an assault rifle as well, but I don't think it's as good as Chris's. It's not as precise, but it still does a pretty good amount of damage. And of course, Jill, I think, has a slightly better dodge. She has landmines, which you place down and are set to go off via proximity. She also has the hot dagger melee weapon, which is cool. And I think you can get finishers with the hot dagger. I could be wrong. But the passive skill is that attack damage is temporarily boosted after dodging. So after a dodge, if you shoot right then, or if you use hot dagger right then, you will do more damage, except landmines are not affected. So that's interesting as well. So Leon is a close quarters character. He has a shotgun. So you really want to get up close with Leon. And he also has a roundhouse kick, which is good to use in combo with the shotgun. It sounds like, a character with a shotgun wouldn't need a melee attack, but it's good. You do the shotgun, and then you stun him with the roundhouse kick, and then you finish him off with the shotgun if you need to. And on the left bumper, he has the dual-wield pistols, which have 24 shots in them, and they have the laser sights. They do a decent amount of damage, so they're good to use, I think, against the creatures. So I do enjoy playing as Leon as well. I kind of like close range, shotgun oriented characters, even want to play Call of Duty or whatever. So he slowly recovers health at low health, so that could help in close quarters battles as well. Claire has a little submachine gun, and the quick draw Amy. Now the quick draw Amy I did use a little bit. It is definitely viable as a main weapon, especially because she has the passive ability to reload as she's dodging. So if you dodge, you automatically reload your quick draw, and it shoots so quickly, it might as well be automatic. So it's a pretty good gun if you're really good at landing headshots. Especially the pistol for Claire is very much viable, but I like to use the submachine gun. And there is actually we'll get to customization later, but there is a perk you can get, a coin that you can get, that will let you reload your submachine gun as Claire when you're dodging. So I like to use that a lot. Really cool. Her other abilities are an adrenaline shot. Now it says it gives you a little bit of health, but the main thing it does is it gives you your dodges back. So Claire can do 2 dodges, and remember, she reloads when she's dodging. So dodges are really important with Claire, and you will recover those instantly if you take the shot. So that's probably the biggest use for it. The health amount is not really that much, although there is another coin that lets you boost that. The modified alternator is a stun effect. You throw it and it stuns them in place, and if you pair that with the submachine gun, you can pretty much finish somebody off. It is a little bit cheesy, and it's one of those things you got to watch that might get nerfed. But again, I didn't find any of these abilities too annoying. I was able to dodge out of some of these situations, so you win some, you lose some. Basically, it doesn't feel overpowered. It might be, I don't know. I don't have access to the stats. Ada has a crossbow, so she's the long range character, pretty much the only one. And the other map, there are only 2 maps in the game right now. One is the police station, which is great, but it's mostly close quarters. The other map is the Bakers, which is partly close quarters, but has some long sight ranges for Ada to take advantage of. She also has the ability to shoot out pipe bombs, so she's got like a grenade thing. She jumps in the air and throws a pipe bomb. And then she has another close range attack, which is good because a lot of her stuff is long range, and it's good to have something in case somebody gets close. So her passive skill is that she automatically recovers a small amount of stamina and briefly gain the ability to dodge regardless of any other conditions when health reaches critical levels. So when she goes down to danger or caution, I'm not sure where the line is exactly, she gets stamina automatically and can dodge even if she's stunned. So that actually will help you get out of some sticky situations. So Ada, that's a very powerful passive, maybe one of the best passives in the game if you know how to exploit it correctly. Ada, unfortunately, in my opinion, it's kind of unfortunate. You might like this if you're a sniper type of character, if you like to play those type of characters in games. She has a one-hit kill, which in this game feels a little cheap. Because there's all these attacks where you stun lock and then you kill a character, but you could just be all the way across the map and not even see them, and then all of a sudden you drop dead. It's a bit annoying for an arena game, something this kinetic. Sometimes Ada's in rounds that I was in were able to dominate just by getting the headshot kills. So it can be a bit annoying for all the Adas to be around, but I don't know, you might like it, your mileage may vary. It feels a little bit OP to me. Hunk has a submachine gun as well, it's pretty decent, but his main effect is that he's the sneaky boy, and you can go invisible. Although it's not really invisible, I don't think anybody's going to mistake you for the surroundings. I think they're going to see you just fine for the most part. But there is an assassination close range attack. Now, I found this one a bit tricky to pull off, but if you pull it off right, it can be a pretty powerful hit, possibly a one-hit kill. I don't think so. I think you have to do some damage beforehand. But basically, his passive is that if you are cloaked when you do the assassination attack, you are cloaked for longer. So Hunk and Ada are my least favorite characters personally, but that's because I don't really care for long-range characters as much. And Hunk, The submachine gun is not as good as Jill or Chris's, and the invisible stuff. Those aren't my type of characters in general, but I found the cloak not very useful at actually tricking anybody. It's interesting to talk about balancing with this game, and now we know other characters are going to come in. They mentioned in patches, they had a roadmap, they're going to add characters in, but we know from the trailer they put out that there's going to be some tactical guys that has a trap that he sets and has a laser pointer weapon. So we saw that in the trailer. That is not in the game as of yet. So yeah, we talked about the fact there's only 2 maps. So let's take a look at the customization because I actually like how they did it. It's not, they kind of simplified it down to, instead of having like weapons upgrades and health upgrades and character upgrades and all these different tiers, they streamlined it into one system called coins, and there are 4 upgrades that you can unlock at any given time. Some are general effects that can apply to any character, like health boosters, dodge upgrades, headshot boosters, ammo boosters, herb boosters, etc. So some apply to every character, and when you buy one on one character, it does give it to you with all the other ones, so you don't need to buy repeats of the same coins over and over, which is nice. There are upgrades for every weapon in the game, which is really cool. And there are upgrades for every ability that each character has. There are even some upgrades for passives. I mentioned Claire's earlier. I'm highly enjoying the speed loader, which I told you guys her pistol is reloaded when you dodge, but this enables it so that your main weapon reloads when you dodge. So I've been using that a lot. If I use the pistol though, if I committed to that, I might be able to use that slot to get some other type of bonus that might help me out even more. So there's ways to streamline your character. So we don't have too much of the battle pass and cosmetic things in yet, but the things we do have are fun. I mean, we have Chris from Resident Evil 7. We have victory poses, which it's a new trend in multiplayer games. I think is really silly, but it's kind of fun. I appreciate it. And we got the weapon skins, of course. Not as many as I would like to see, but of course you unlock them as you level up in the game. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that there are coins for the creature abilities and health as well. So you also upgrade your bioweapons with these coin systems. And the coin systems, you can save 3 classes. I haven't done that yet, but it is an option, which is also convenient. So in terms of drawbacks, things I'm worried about, balancing is always a thing. Nothing felt too OP for me except for the Ada headshots from across the map was kind of annoying. No particular ability made me die too much. One cool thing with the balancing is that you can go from being at the bottom of the rung, like losing a match, to winning if you have a good streak. And you can do that if you're failing at playing this character you just tried out for the first time. You still have a fighting chance after you die when you get the bioweapons, and you can have a lot of fun with those attacks and chaining those together. So I just want to briefly mention that there are heavy weapons in the game as well. Weapons you pick up in addition to the weapons that you spawn in as each character. These are like the spark shot, you got rocket launchers, you got grenade launchers. I will say that these feel a little bit underpowered. I think you can get good results with them if you have skill, but I was finding them somewhat difficult to get kills with. I think they're designed to be used mostly against the creatures, so maybe that's where I was going wrong. Sometimes I would try them out with regular humans and it wouldn't work so well, so maybe I'm doing it wrong, but I feel there's room for improvement there. You've probably already noticed the art style. There is a cartoon filter over the game, basically. It's basically just all the same maps that you're familiar with from Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 7, except everything is scaled up so that the characters are a lot smaller than the environment when compared with the original games, and this is to accommodate the bigger bioweapons slash creatures. Like Nemesis is really tall, so all the doorways need to be at least this tall enough to get him in the room. So I like the design, but don't expect to be blown away. It's pretty simple. The cartoon filter, a lot of people might not like. I grew indifferent to it. At first, when I first played the beta a year ago, I turned it off because I found it off-putting, but then I discovered that it simply makes the game easier because in some of the darker environments, the characters stand out more. So ever since then, I've left it on, and since then, I've gotten completely used to it, and I wouldn't imagine shutting it off now. It doesn't bother me at all. So I'm kind of indifferent to it at this point. So it's worth pointing out that this game released on time and I was able to play right away at the time they posted on social media. So they were ready for this one and the servers weren't overloaded. I had some lag issues and some teleporting around the map and stuff, so it's not perfect, but it was a pretty good experience overall, and I only had a match or two get dropped connectivity wise, so that happens in pretty much every online game I've ever played at some point. So I played for 9 hours according to Steam, so I had 2 matches drop in that time. Overall connectivity was good, but some of the lag issues need to be ironed out, which you would expect with a beta, but the game is coming out in a few days, so I don't know how much they're going to be able to fix it right away, maybe with upcoming patches and whatnot, or on the server end, upgrading things. But I think they'll be able to improve it from here. It's pretty solid as it is right now. One of the issues sometimes is that all the human characters are dead and it's just the creatures fighting each other, which isn't as much fun as having a balance, because when you're a creature, you want to fight humans first, or at least that's how I look at it. I seek the humans out because they're easier to kill, so I go after the humans first. So it's kind of annoying when all the players in the match are now bioweapons. This game isn't for people that want more mid to long range combat. There's only that one character that has that. It's a close range game. I like close range games. There aren't really many close range kind of combat games like this, so I'm kind of enjoying it. It kind of feels like a fighting game almost, because like I said, it's all about chaining together combos. As far as some of the weaknesses, I was hoping we were going to be able to unlock new weapons. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to change out the weapon our character has. It doesn't look like that's going to be part of the system. I was hoping maybe we'd unlock new abilities as well. That doesn't look to be a thing. Instead, I think down the line, they're just going to add more characters in. Fine, they want to bake those in. It's easier to balance it that way. I appreciate that. It just kind of like, I was hoping for a little bit more progression, but at least we got the coin system and the cosmetics and stuff, so there is a progression system and a battle pass, and there's all that stuff. And there definitely aren't enough bioweapons yet. There have been several matches where there's like 3 or 4 jacks running around. It gets to the point where there's just not enough variety in the bioweapons at the moment. This is the same amount of bioweapons that was in the beta a year ago. It's kind of a disappointing amount. I know they're going to add more in patches later. It feels like they should have more, but maybe it'll launch with more on Friday and I'll be surprised. There need to be more than 2 maps though. I mean, 4 I think might be a good place to start. This is a smaller scale game. It's kind of a free add-on. But they are, selling a premium battle pass on this, I think. So you got to have a bit more content to justify that. There is the ability to do passcode matches, private matches with your friends. And it is a cross-play game, which is very cool. So if you have friends who play on console and you're on PC, you can play together. But I don't believe there's any mechanism for playing matchmaking together. At least not that I was able to find. So you can only play private matches, which could be fun, but you'll see depending on your skill level. The game is very tied into skill-based ranking matchmaking stuff. You'll see next to my name in the upper right that there's a number 1677. That number has to do with my rating, and I'm unlocking more as I get more and more wins and stuff. So I think that they try to match you with people in that range. So there's some skill-based matchmaking stuff going on. I don't have an issue with it. The game, it felt balanced to me. I had some really bad matches, and I had some really good ones. And if you guys have been watching the video, you see my B-roll, that your boy, of course, was able to get a win with every single character. Even though I'm not good at the sniping, I was able to get Ada. That was the last holdout, and finally, before the beta runs out, it's probably over by the time you watch this, so that I was happy I was able to just in time before I go to bed because I got to go to work tomorrow. But I hope you guys appreciated this review. I appreciate this game. We need some more content from it. I hope it launches with a bit more, especially maps. We need that village map that we saw in the trailer. We need something more than just these 2 maps here, because it's going to get a little old, because I want to play this game a lot. I want to unlock stuff. I'm really enjoying it. I just need a bit more maps to keep my interest. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What are your favorite characters and combos and attacks and all that? And I hope to see you in the next video. And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.